Hi everyone, it's Darcy from m3b and I've got some quick tutorials for you today. I get a few emails asking for tutorials, and this one is probably one of the most requested, if not the most requested one that I get, and that's how to make eyes sharp, or how to make eyes pop. So this is a picture of my 9-year-old, and this is at 100%, and this is unedited. So you can see here that he has these beautiful multicolored striations in his eyes, and I love to sharpen them and make them pop, but this is what they look like straight out of camera. One thing that's important to me is that at the end of this, that it looks realistic. I've done some tutorials that show really super unrealistic eyes, things to avoid, but in this one, what we're aiming for is what his eyes actually look like, only a little bit sharper. So what I like to do at the beginning always is take a picture of the current state so that we can always come back and refer to it. And a lot of times you'll have the state right there, so just in case I take a picture, and it'll say snapshot 1 in the history palette here, right, which is right here, history. So go ahead and take a snapshot so you can always refer back to this, or more importantly, that you can paint on with a history brush if you need to. So, okay, here's the thing about this tutorial. I'm going to show you two different ways. One is fast, but it's going to require an investment, and the other is not quite as fast, and I might have to do it on a second tutorial, but it doesn't require an investment. So first things first, I'm going to show you the action. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, and there's an action from MCP Actions called Eye Doctor and Dentist. So you can come in here, you find the Eye Doctor, and you hit play. And it will create these 4 layers. Enhance catch light, brighten the iris, brighten the whites, darken the pupil or lash line, and sharpen the tack. For me personally, I like to start at the bottom and work my way up, and I don't always use all of these layers. What I like about this is that it keeps the background layer unedited, so that if you need to, you can always just throw these layers away. So this is available in, I'm working in CS5 right now, but this is available in all of the CS versions as well as Elements. So it can be purchased for all of those versions of Photoshop. Okay, so the first thing that we notice is that these layers are black. And that means that the actions that have been created on these layers are not actually showing, they're masked. In order to make them show, we need to paint with white. So if you don't have white and black set here, set the foreground and the background color here by clicking on this icon, and make sure that white is on top and black is on bottom. And go ahead and pick a soft brush. Mine is very large, so I'm going to reduce this brush size about a little bit smaller than his pupil, and I'm going to go ahead and paint that on right there, and it'll sharpen just his pupil, and it should bring out the color of the striations a little bit too. The one thing you'll notice is that when you do it, it will also make the pupil a little bit darker, which is not his actual true color. The nice thing about that is that Jody, who creates the MCP Actions, has created a layer so that you can bring this back. Okay, so moving up, the next one is darken the pupil or lash line. In this case, since his head is down, it's not necessary to darken that, but certainly you can go ahead and burn the areas around the pupil if you need to in your example. Brighten the whites. I find that in most cases that this makes a very unrealistic look. I'm going to go ahead and show you real quick what it does, but then I'm going to pull it back because I just don't think it looks natural. So when you come in here and you paint on the whites of the eyes here, it just makes them a little bit brighter and stuff. I think it makes the eyes look more edited, so I tend to turn that layer off. You can see here on, off. If you prefer the way that it looks, you can go ahead and do that with yours, but for my personal look, I tend not to do this. Okay, the next one above that is brighten the iris. And the reason why this is important, because again, when we did this, if you see this layer toggled on and off, this sharp as a tack layer, you could see that while it sharpened it, it also darkened his eyes a lot. And that's not the color his pupils actually are. So if you're going to sharpen this layer, you can bring back some of the lightness by brightening the iris. And again, you just go ahead and paint right inside the iris. I tend to avoid the pupils and the edges here, just like that. Okay, now, for me this is a little bit too bright. The opacity here is set at 58%, that's the default. So you can go ahead and drop this down to a percentage that looks a little bit more realistic. This is 30%. I think this is truer to the color that his eyes actually are. Okay, the top layer here that she has is called Enhance Catch Lights. And so you can go ahead and click on this. And what the catch lights are is in this case, and I'll go at 200%, it'll make it a little bit blurrier, but you'll be able to see those little white specks right in there. Those are the reflections off the window. And sometimes you might have to work at a higher percentage in order to do this. And all this is, in this case, there's not a lot of catch lights. Sometimes you'll see big, beautiful catch lights. But in this case, enhanced catch lights will just brighten this area. That's the reflected lights, which make eyes look bright and shiny. You can see them here a little bit more in this pupil, so you can go ahead and, with a really, really small, soft brush, you can paint those catch lights back on. Okay? All right, let me zoom back out again to 100%. Whoops, that just totally moved that. Edit, step backwards. We don't want to have a move. We actually just want to zoom in and move this whole thing. So, okay, here we are at 100%. And again, we're going to go into our history again, and I'm going to go ahead and take a snapshot. And the reason why is because it'll allow me to toggle between the two so you can see. So there's the original, straight out of camera, and there's the one with the sharpened pop eyes. Okay, so now you can see what it would look like. Again, it's very fast. All of the edits are already done for you in layers, and all you would have to do is adjust the opacity. So this is the easiest way to go ahead and make sharpened pop eyes on your photos if you want to buy a commercial action. I'm going to create another video here soon, which will talk about how to do it without the use of actions. All right, thanks for stopping by.